Have you ever heard about the power of discernment? But do you truly understand how deep and transformative it can be? Discernment is not just a mental skill, it's a spiritual force, a divine gift that, when cultivated, has the power to protect, guide, and liberate. We live in a world full of distractions, illusions, and noise. Many souls, even well-intentioned ones, are spiritually blind. They act on impulse, trust without reflection, repeat patterns that trap them in cycles of pain and disappointment. Meanwhile, others seem to navigate through life with ease, as if they can see beyond the visible. It's not luck, it's not coincidence, it's discernment. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. If you sometimes feel lost, confused, or if you've trusted people who seemed good but ended up hurting you, this video is a call for your soul, because discernment is the shield and compass of the chosen ones. It's what prevents us from falling into emotional, spiritual, or energetic traps. Together, we'll understand why discernment is the greatest power a chosen one can develop, how it manifests, and what you can do, starting today, to awaken and strengthen it within you. But before we go any further, answer me honestly. Do you feel that your discernment is awakening? Have you noticed signs that your spiritual vision is expanding? Leave a comment below and share your journey. Your experience could illuminate the path of other souls who are also awakening. And if this content resonates with you, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video with someone you feel needs to hear this message. Motivation you need, where your consciousness expands and your soul finds direction. Now that we understand the greatness of discernment, we need to reflect on what blocks this gift. If discernment is so essential, why can't everyone clearly see what truly matters? The answer lies within us. The world offers us countless distractions and influences that cloud our spiritual vision. But the biggest block doesn't come from the outside, it comes from within. The first enemy of discernment is the ego. It convinces us that we already know enough, that we don't need to change, that we're always right. But true discernment only arises when we have the courage to unlearn, to let go of comfortable illusions and see reality with clear eyes. How many times have we ignored obvious signs because we didn't want to face the truth? How many times have we insisted on the wrong path because our ego refused to admit we were wrong? Discernment requires humility. It teaches us to release control, to trust the truth even when it hurts. Another powerful block is uncontrolled emotions. Anger, fear, anxiety, and neediness can completely cloud our vision. When we're dominated by emotion, we can't perceive the subtle signs the universe sends us. That's why one of the first keys to discernment is to observe our emotions without being ruled by them. Ask yourself, is this decision coming from calm or from desperation? From clarity or from impulse? This simple question can save you from countless downfalls. We're also living in a time of subtle manipulation. The media, social networks, even close people or spiritual groups, all try in some way to influence what we think and feel. And here comes a hard truth. Not everything that looks spiritual truly is. Many claim to be awakened, but have simply replaced one illusion with another. Many follow gurus, influencers, or leaders without ever questioning them. Discernment breaks this dependency. It gives you freedom. It returns your spiritual autonomy. But there's a common mistake among the chosen, confusing intuition with desire. Sometimes, we want something to be true so badly that we convince ourselves it's a sign. But is it really? Discernment demands that you look with clarity, with courage, that you observe the patterns. If what you call intuition always leads you to pain, confusion, or regret, maybe it's not intuition. Maybe it's your ego dressed as spirituality. The first step is to recognize this, to have the courage to admit your self-deceptions. The more aware you become of your inner blocks, the clearer your spiritual vision will become. So then the question arises, how do we use this power in practice? How does discernment protect us from the wrong people and energies that drain our soul? When a chosen one begins to develop discernment, something almost invisible, but profoundly real, starts to happen. They begin to see more clearly the intentions of people around them, to feel energies that once went unnoticed, and to perceive patterns hidden behind sweet words or seemingly harmless behaviors. Discernment is like a spiritual shield. It doesn't just protect, it reveals. How often do the biggest threats come disguised as allies? How many times have we been hurt by trusting those who wore masks of light but hid dark intentions? This subtle gift allows the chosen to read between the lines. A look, a tone of voice, an awkward pause, everything carries messages. And once you're awake, it's impossible not to notice. But discernment goes beyond human relationships. It also acts as an energetic radar. Heavy environments, words that seem neutral but plant insecurity, objects filled with negative vibrations, all of this becomes clear. And the more you train this perception, the more natural it becomes to avoid these traps. The truth is that the spiritual world communicates subtly. The signs come as sensations, discomforts, chills, gut feelings. And those who develop discernment learn to respect those messages even when they lack a logical explanation. How many times have you ignored an inner warning and regretted it later? That happens because we still doubt our own spiritual compass. But the more we trust it, the stronger it becomes. And with that, another transformation begins. People and situations that don't match your frequency start to drift away. And yes, that can hurt. Sometimes these people were close. Sometimes they were long-term relationships. But remember, those who are bothered by your discernment were probably benefiting from your naivety. And this is where a new challenge appears. Spiritual loneliness. When you awaken, you realize that many around you are still asleep, and this can create a sense of isolation. But this phase is sacred. It's the time when your soul learns to sustain itself with its own light, without needing external approval. In this silence, you learn to trust yourself. You stop asking others if you're on the right path. You feel it. You know it. So how do you strengthen this gift and make it a constant ally? How do you make discernment present in every step of your journey? The answer begins with the practice of conscious observation. We live so much on autopilot that we rarely stop to observe before acting. But the chosen one cannot live distracted. They must live awake, aware of the words, the tone, the gestures, aware of the vibrations. It's not about living in suspicion, but about living in awareness. Most traps could be avoided if we had paid more attention to the first signs. And that's why the second practice is silence. Discernment and noise cannot coexist. When your mind is filled with noise, worries, distractions, you can't hear your soul. But in silence, wisdom reveals itself. A single moment of pause in your day may be enough to hear what your spirit has been trying to say for so long. And if you want a third pillar of discernment, question everything, even what seems to come from spirituality. Where does this idea come from? Does it resonate with my inner truth? Am I repeating something I heard, or do I truly feel this is real? Discernment invites you to become the author of your own faith, to never bow to a truth that your soul hasn't felt for itself. And more, discernment observes patterns. It sees what repeats. It recognizes cycles. If something or someone is constantly pulling you into pain, stagnation, or conflict, something is wrong. The universe speaks through repetition, and the attentive ones notice before falling again. Finally, perhaps the most powerful advice: follow your intuition, even when it defies logic. Discernment and intuition walk hand in hand. If something doesn't feel right, even if it looks perfect on paper, trust that feeling. If something feels aligned, even if no one else understands it, go for it. It's in the silence that the soul screams, and the chosen ones hear it. But don't think that once you develop this gift, everything will become easy. On the contrary, once the universe sees that you're ready, it will begin to test you. Spiritual tests will arise, and your discernment will be challenged. What looks like a gift might be a trap. What looks easy might be a distraction, but it's in those moments that you will be forged. And when the tests come, you won't be alone. Motivation. You need where your consciousness expands and your soul finds direction. If this message spoke to you, I invite you to watch the next video here on the channel. You truly need to hear what comes next. See you there.